Factories spread across the landscape, cities expanded, and exports surged toward global markets. From a distance, it appeared that Mexico had done what many developing economies struggled to do. It industrialized. But industrialization does not always lead where people expect. And in Mexico's case, it led somewhere incomplete. At the heart of this story is geography. Mexico sits next to the largest consumer market in the world. Its long northern border connects directly to the United States, not across oceans, but by land. That proximity reshaped how Mexico's economy evolved. Not gradually, but structurally. As global manufacturing reorganized in the late 20th century, distance became a cost. Every mile between factory and consumer mattered. Mexico had an advantage that few countries could replicate. It was close enough to plug directly into North American supply chains. Factories did not need to cross oceans. They crossed borders. And those borders became economic corridors. Along Mexico's northern states, industrial zones expanded rapidly. Assembly plants appeared first, then logistics hubs, then entire cities built around manufacturing. This process accelerated after trade barriers fell. When NAFTA came into effect, Mexico's role became clearer. It was no longer trying to build a self-contained industrial economy. Instead, it was becoming a critical link inside someone else's system. Production increased. Exports surged. Manufactured goods began flowing north at unprecedented scale. By many measures, this looked like success. Jobs were created, industrial output grew. Mexico became one of the world's top manufacturing exporters. But growth alone does not define development. What mattered was how that growth was structured, and who controlled it. Most factories in Mexico were designed around a specific logic. Components arrived from abroad. They were assembled locally. Then finished products were shipped back out. Value entered. Value left. But very little stayed. Over time, this created an economy that was deeply productive, yet narrowly positioned. Manufacturing existed, but decision-making often did not. Technology arrived, but ownership frequently did not. In everyday terms, Mexico built the middle of the machine. Not the beginning, and not the end. This structure shaped wages. Jobs were plentiful, but pay remained constrained. The system rewarded efficiency, not bargaining power. Competition was global, margins were thin. And labor costs were one of the few variables companies could control. As factories multiplied, something else remained constant. Most high-value functions stayed elsewhere. Design, research, branding, strategic control. These activities clustered far from the assembly line. That separation mattered, because it defined how much of the economic upside Mexico could capture, and how much it could not. Gradually, a pattern emerged. Mexico was industrial, but not fully autonomous. Integrated, but dependent. Productive, but constrained. The country did not fail to industrialize. It industrialized in a specific way. One optimized for speed and scale, not for long-term upgrading. Geography reinforced this outcome. Being close to the United States brought opportunity, but it also created gravitational pull. Production oriented north. Supply chains aligned north. Economic incentives pointed north. That orientation limited diversification. Why develop alternative industries when manufacturing exports were already flowing? Why invest in slower, riskier paths when the existing system kept delivering? Over time, the system hardened. Firms optimized for what already worked. Regions specialized narrowly. And the economy became efficient at doing the same things, again and again. This is where the middle-income trap quietly appears. Not as a sudden crisis, but as a plateau. Mexico did not collapse. It stabilized, and that stability became its constraint. As other countries moved up the value chain, Mexico remained competitive by staying cost-efficient. But cost efficiency has limits. Wages cannot rise easily without losing contracts. Skills cannot deepen quickly without redesigning the system. The economy kept moving, but it stopped transforming. Cities grew. Infrastructure expanded. Exports continued. Yet the structure underneath remained largely unchanged. Mexico became essential to global manufacturing, but not indispensable in the ways that generate leverage. This explains a central paradox. Mexico is one of the world's largest manufacturing exporters, yet income levels have grown slowly. Productivity gains have not translated evenly, and upward mobility remains uneven. None of this is accidental. It is the outcome of how geography, trade, and incentives aligned. Mexico built what the global system asked for, and the global system asked for assembly. Escaping that position requires more than growth. It requires reshaping where value is created, who controls it, and how risk is distributed. That kind of change is slow, because it challenges the very structure that once delivered success. Mexico's story is not about failure. It is about being locked into the middle, productive enough to matter, but constrained enough to struggle moving beyond it. Industrialization opened the door, but it did not guarantee what came next. And that is the quiet lesson behind Mexico's factories. Being built does not mean being free. If you're interested in how geography and systems quietly shape the world, you can follow this channel. More stories like this are coming. This is Behind the Map.